My name is Renee Winston, and I am the founder and owner of Childless and Power. And welcome to this episode. This is episode 2. Today is January 14th. This is Saturday, 2017. And I am still in Scotland on assignment. And if you look behind me, you will see that it snowed yesterday. It was the most craziest weather I've seen since I've been existing or remembering in regards to weather conditions. It's about less than 2 inches of snow out there, but the weather was just so crazy yesterday because it snowed, sun came out, then it snowed again, then the sun came out, then it snowed again, the sun came out, and then it actually hailed, and then the sun came out, and then the sun set, and then it started to snow again. And so what you see right there out there right now, is ice. It has frozen over. It is 32 degrees outside, and it's cold, and I do need to step out. So after I'm finished with this video, I will be stepping out into the snow because I got errands to run, and hopefully the buses are running so I can do what I need to do to sustain myself while I'm here in Scotland. But in any case, I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. And today I am going to be talking about why my life is surrounded by childlessness and what actually caused my childlessness or being a woman who is childless. This is what I want to talk about today. And from last week when I did the very first video, I said that I will get into that. And this is the video that I am going to be talking about that. And so, most people, when they start off with their story, they like to go way back. And I'm just going to go back just a little because it is part of my journey. The whole thing is part of the journey, of my journey. And it's just a small piece that I need to go back. So my childlessness is actually caused by 3 things. One is endometriosis, which is the biggest thing. I have fibroids inside of my uterus, within the uterus and outside of the uterus, and chocolate cysts on both of my ovaries. And it was when I finding out about endometriosis, that I had this particular type of disease, it just cut my world. It really did. And for most women who suffers from endometriosis, it really is a horrible, devastating disease. Now, I said I'm going to go back a little bit. I started having my period at the normal age at that time of 13. And when I had it, it was just kind of weird. Most of us growing up, young ladies, we don't know about our periods until it happens. And that's when we get the talk or the birds and the bees talk, stuff like that. So I started in normal time for that time space was 13. But it was not normal. I remember being 15 years old, and I remember standing on the bus stop. I went to school in New York City. I had to take a bus and a train to get to school. So I went to Fashion Industries, and I was living in Queens at the time. And I would get on the bus. Got on the train, came to the bus stop to take the bus to take me home, public transportation bus. And I'm waiting for the bus, and all of a sudden, I felt the sensation of a period happening. And when it happens like that. And I remember waiting for this bus, and this bus took forever to come. And all I wanted to do was lay down on that cold, gray, concrete ground that is nasty and full of crap and everything, living in New York City, all I wanted to do was lay down, and I couldn't. That's how bad the menstrual cramps were. Endometriosis is a disease where the let me get the right name for it. It's the endometrium. Is where the endometrium is the inner lining of inside the uterus, a woman's uterus. And that is the tissue or the lining that actually grows, and when it's time for her to receive a baby, a fertilized egg, when the egg and the sperm meets and it becomes fertilized. And this is where the egg will go to implant itself in this lining. And when it doesn't implant itself within this lining, this endometrium, when it doesn't, then what happens is that the egg will fall off, and then the hormones inside a woman's body will signal to release this the endometrium. Oh, I mispronounced it. I'm sorry. The endometrium. It will signal the body, hormones will signal the body to release it, and that's when a woman has her period. Well, this gotta keep looking, endometrium. What happens is that inside of a woman's body, instead of being inside of the uterus, in endometriosis, it's outside of the uterus. So it's in other places within a woman's body. It could be on her bladder, definitely outside of her uterus. It could be within the fallopian tubes. It could be on the ovaries, which is causing the chocolate cysts. It could be it could land on the small intestines, the large intestines. I've heard stories where women have this tissue on their lungs or even on their brain. And so whenever the body is going through a hormonal change in regards to the flow of having a menstrual cycle, and the hormones certain hormones go up, certain hormones go down, what's happening inside of the uterus is also happening in these implants that were placed in different parts within the cavity of a woman's stomach, or in her belly, or in one woman in her brain. And so when your uterus is going through the changes of the hormonal changes, so is these little implants, and some of them are so microscopic. Some of them are size, and the surgeon can go in and extract them, but some are just so small, and it depends if it lands on the nerve and all that. So mine was, whenever I had my menstrual cycle, it was as if someone went into my insides and did an Indian burn, when they twist the skin. That's what it felt like. And it felt like that for 3 days. For 3 days, I was down. And for most of us women who suffers from endometriosis, we will try and do anything to have a normal life with this particular type of disease. This disease causes, in most women, infertility. Some women will go through operations to clean up, with a specialist to clean up and remove some of those implants, the lining, where it fell inside of a woman's body. They will go in and clean that up so that a woman can have a normal life or even become pregnant. But for some of us, that was not the case. When I found out that I had endometriosis, I was 27 years old. I was seeing a doctor who specialized who was a reproductive endocrinologist. And she specialized in women who have horrible periods, and specialized with women who also suffer from endometriosis. And so at the age of 27, I had an operation, a laparoscopy, just to go in and clean up the implants of where the endometriosis was planted within my body. And when she went in to do this operation afterwards, when she came out, and she said, and I went for my consultation afterwards. And that's when I found out that what was causing all this pain, I even had endobelly. For us women who know about, who suffers from endometriosis, we know about endobelly. I even experienced that. And just painful period. So after a week after my surgery, and I sat with this doctor, and she drew a diagram, a picture of what was going on inside of my body. And she said, Renee, you have blockage in your fallopian tubes from the endometriosis. You have one fallopian tube, and I can't remember if it was the left or the right. One was flipped to the other side, so it couldn't even catch an egg, a fertilized egg. The other one was wrapped around my other ovary. So the endometriosis and the adhesions that I've had for some whatever reason had rendered my ability to have children to non-existent. And she told me about the fibroids, and she told me about the childless cyst that was, even though one fallopian tube was flipped to the other side, the other one was hugging the other the other ovary. It was still childless cysts, and there was huge childless cysts on both of my ovaries. And so all she did was clean up work. She didn't remove anything else. She didn't remove any of my organs. She just cleaned me up, and that was it. That's what I found out about endometriosis, and that's when I found out that I could not have children. And I remember after the surgery, and about 2 weeks later, I went back to work, and I sat at my desk, and the thought of me not being able to have children became so overwhelming that I sat at my desk, and I worked in a very open space. And all I did, I just burst into tears. And I just had this grieving session at work, out of all places. I had it at work. And I cried. And everybody was like, what's wrong, Renee? What's wrong, Renee? I just couldn't talk. And so and the strangest part of that was that the reason why I started crying also was because my period came down. That daggone period, to me, every time I had a period until I got into menopause, was a reminder that from that point on, it was a reminder that I couldn't have any children. And when I sat at my desk and the grief of not having children, then my period came down, and I was bawling and crying, and my boss came over. She was like, what is wrong? What is wrong? And I was like, the only thing that came out of my mouth was, I'm in pain. And they took me to the doctor, to the hospital. I went into ER, and I knew that ER, there was nothing they could do for me. There was nothing, but my boss was so concerned, and I understood. So she had a co-worker go with me to emergency, and then my mom and my sister came, and to relieve my co-worker so she could go back to her family. And that's when I realized that my life is just going to change. It's not going to be normal. It's not going to be the norm. I'm not going to be a mom. I am not going to experience my baby's breath. I'm not going to be able to change my own baby's diapers. I'm not even going to be able to create a baby. That was one of the most difficult days in my life, was dealing with the fact that I'm going to have this constant reminder that's saying, nah, Renee, you're not going to have any kids. And you're going to continue to have a period to remind you every single month. That hurts. That hurts. But the one thing that I guess I had to prove to myself is that even though I could not have children, and that the very thing that I, as a woman, that was taken away from me was the ability to have children, in my mind, deep in my mind, the one thing that wasn't going to happen to me was the removal of my uterus. I could not allow any doctor to remove my uterus. I wanted to die with my uterus. And that was my thing. Even though I got that constant reminder, because I could have went through the surgery to have it removed, but I didn't want to lose my uterus at all. So at age 29, I had another surgery where a doctor actually went in and she cleaned me up. And she removed portions of my ovaries. She removed my fallopian tubes. And she removed those fibroids that was in my body. And she even showed me pictures of just how much extensive damage that was within my reproductive system. And from that point on, really at age 29, even though from age 27 I found out about it, and from age 29 the reality hit, because I saw based on pictures, I saw what's inside of me, my life would never be the same. And I started to, and this is going to be another video in regards to how I led my life to this point where I'm at today, talking about childlessness. And one of the things that I've read, I'm reading this book, and I will get the name for it in my next video, or in fact, I'll put it down below. And it was a book, I can't remember the name of it, but I started back reading it. And one of the things she said that in this book is that, and I would definitely get more into the book next time when I do a video, is that childlessness is actually a gift. Your unborn children are a gift. And I see now at my age, I'm 53 years old. I am about to become single. I'm going through a divorce. And I find that I'm coming to a point in my life that it is a gift. That my unborn children, when I used to have my menstrual cycle, because right now I am in menopause, that it is a gift. And I will get more into that later. I don't want to extend this video anymore. I just want to explain to you why I am dealing with childlessness. It's because of endometriosis and how it has just changed my life. And I will have to say this now, and I can say this unequivocally, 100%, is that I am happy in my life now. And I've come to that decision. And I want to help other women to come to that decision too, in regards to their childlessness. My goal as a health coach, because I am a certified health coach, is to help women to thrive and have the best life that they have. Because right now, my goal is to have a beautiful life, the best life that I can create with the resources that I have. And I want other women who are childless to experience that too. So please subscribe. Whatever that subscribe button is, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned, because it is time to live. And also, I will have a forum, a space, I would like to say, a safe space for expression, because I want other women to share their story, because we all have our stories. We all have a story to where it has taken us to get to this point in our lives. And right now, my goal, my nurturing goal, is to help other women to thrive, other childless women to thrive. That's my mission. So this is Renee Winston. I am signing off. Thank you so much for listening. And once again, please subscribe. Please subscribe. And like I said, the website is coming soon. It should be coming before the spring time. I'm currently going to start working on it once I get back to the States. And just thank you for listening. And stay tuned, because there's more to come. And I want you to thrive in your childlessness. Thank you. Have a beautiful, blessed day.